Hi, this is your boy Freddy. Just remember, we here at the Seven Dreams podcast. We're out here to entertain, be informative, and build community. Just remember, chasing dreams in a world that never slows down is one of the hardest things to do. You're trying to find balance while navigating your internal processes in a world that seems that everybody's on their own beat. It's not that you want everything to pause and be about you. You want to feel good. You want to feel that you are relevant. And there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, come join us at the podcast, the Selling Dreams podcast, with your host, Freddy. Look us up. Welcome everyone. Those of you who are viewing live and those who you are viewing rebroadcast. Hi, I'm your host Freddy. It's been a while. So we're back. This is season 2 for also known as season 2025. We took a little hiatus after Christmas because life gets busy and everything. Make sure there's content out there. But we're back. Welcome officially to season 2 of the Selling Dreams podcast. I've missed you all so much, and it feels good to be back in front of the mic. Today's episode is going to be a little different. It's personal, it's raw, vulnerable, but also filled with hope, power, and practical advice. Especially for you parents out there. I've been interacting with a lot of parents lately and stuff. So let me give you an update to what's been going on with me. So, for those of you who are joining us for the first time and don't know my background, I am a special needs teacher in the island of Trinidad and Tobago, the country of Trinidad and Tobago, on the island of Trinidad. I'm in the south of Trinidad, San Fernando area, but I used to work in Port of Spain. As of January, I've been reassigned to the St. John's Anglican School. It's a regular school. Great staff, great kids, great parents. So it's a change for me because it's back in general education, and I bring my skills and last 10 years of experience with me into a regular classroom. Since we last talked, for those of you who are accustomed to me, that's always using family-wise. My cousin Tubbs, you all remember from, I believe, episode 9, he had a mild stroke. He's doing well, he's on the mend. Bit by bit spoke to him a couple of days ago because his birthday was just before mine. Mine was yesterday. Well, at the time of taping, it was yesterday. Big 48, stepping towards 50. Feeling good, looking good. And then, of Derek, recently, I lost my elder sister, Rhonda. It was kind of hard losing her. But for those of you who are accustomed with my content would know that ADHD, we grieve differently. It's not that we don't grieve, but we grieve differently. And plus my family, they one of a kind. Had some issues within the family and everything, but only time could heal all wounds. So that's basically it. Plus I've been working on some other projects. Hopefully soon, our parent network, enabler.com, and the Enabler Network will be expanding an additional show under the Selling Dreams banner, but it's going to be a live show. And it's going to highlight more music. Now we just do the royalty-free music that accompanies certain sections, but we're going to actually explore music from my country, and so that license is what I'm waiting on. Right, so as soon as that license is ready and everything, we can move forward. What else? What else? But let's get to today's. Wait, not yet. Yeah, I still dealing with issues and personal stuff. Um, but let's see, we're not just about talking. We're going to have this real conversation today. So one of the biggest issues we've had is, especially in the new school I'm at, and not just the new school I'm at. I've been talking with people in public and everything, and I'm realizing, even like when I speak to my mom with her almost 50 something years experience in special ed, people are afraid of labels. They're afraid of the stigma associated with special ed. So I want to get into it, but for now, um, but yeah, uh, just hey, hold on, let's jump into it. So your child has been diagnosed with having a special need. This label does not define your child. This label is intended to activate the rights and protections under the law for the supports needed for their child to be successful both at school, in the workplace, and in their regular life. Fear will tell you to hide, understandably. But love speaks up. Love speaks up. Right. So, jumping straight in. Today's topic is called Fear of the Label. Essentially. So, you know, I got my notes and stuff. So, parents with special needs, you usually ask yourself certain questions when you're getting your child ready to register into the school system. So, hey, some of the questions are, what if they treat my child differently once they know? Or what if they sideline my child? What if they just label him and give up? Now, these are valid questions. These are valid reasons why a parent may or may not let the school know that hey, my kid got a little additional educational needs compared to the normal child. That's what special needs is about. It's just they need a little more support than, let's say, the average child. So I'm seeing it up close. I'm actually seeing it right now in two of my classes that I'm working with. So for me, I have to advocate not for the parent but for the child. So as an educator and advocate, and in families that I love and are close to, I'm seeing this. This is like an everyday thing for me. Um, Even in my own family, you know, you don't speak about certain things. People go label the child. People treat the child a certain way. Okay, I afforded, well, my wife, my deceased wife, afforded a certain when we spoke about my son and his abilities, I told her that he'd be frustrated in regular school system, just as I was. But I was frustrated for a whole different type of reason. Modern education has jumped forward, and because of a lot of the leaps in how we deal with stuff, it doesn't affect gifted and ADHD children as much unless some teachers are very, very old school and rely on that chalk and talk, or I'm writing on the board and you take down, or I'm discussing orally and you are supposed to learn from what I'm orally telling you. So whether your child is diagnosed with ADHD, autism, or any type of learning disability, they need supports in the classroom. Even those who are gifted and talented need special supports in the classroom, because not only are they neurodivergent or they think differently to us, they approximate the world, and or their reality is different to ours. So let's understand what the label does. The purpose of the label, whether you're in the US, USA, Philippines, Indonesia, Trinidad and Tobago, the wider Caribbean, is to trigger legal protections. Your child's rights. The right to an free and appropriate education. This is a natural right. This is the UN Charter of the Disabled Persons. You have a right to be successful in going to school. And one of the ways we deal with that is ensuring that laws were passed and money was allocated. So I usually tell people, label is to ensure that the money runs. Because if a school system says, well, we have 0 people with these special needs, so why are we paying for this extra support? Why are we paying for this extra personnel? It's like, we're going to lose it because we're not recording the statistics. It's not for the direct teacher. It is for the support personnel. It's for the resources to be put in place. So that is something you have to understand. That's what those labels are. In the classroom, the labels don't really help, because you must see the child as an individual. You must see this person. You don't longer teach a class of 45. You teach individuals of 45. It's a little more strenuous. When I was going to school, because of my ADHD, my audio processing is different. For those of you who remember the old Charlie Brown cartoon, how the teacher used to sound, he used to go womp, 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 womp. That was me from primary straight to secondary. I could not deal with lectures. Even as an adult, I don't like workshops. Because I'll go to a workshop and you will speak in your workshop, and I will not hear. It's almost impossible for me to understand what you're saying. So I rely on PowerPoint, I rely on question and answer. And they're like, but we just clarified this. I said, clearly not. Right? But that is where my pattern recognition jumps in, because a lot of human behavior is about patterns. And if your background in education is wide enough, you can guess the patterns. And when you guess the patterns, you can approximate what they're going to talk about, and you can link it back to something that you know, or a behavior that you know, or someone you know. So, what can you do as a parent? Let's look at that. So, educators have learned what that diagnosis actually means. Don't listen when you say, oh, that child autistic, so he can't learn. Are you mad? The US Army loves autistic people. They find that they're some of the greatest military people, because they are fixated on task completion. They follow timings and rules almost They're almost robotic because, not saying they're robotic, but what happened is that in their reality, rules have consequences and they have to be maintained. Don't give me a rule and then tell me, well, not all the time you can follow. No, rules are rule. This time is this time. That's where they are. That's why as children they have issues and they have meltdowns because you change that behavior. You change what would normally happen. So, in my experience, when we have breakdowns, most times I have breakdowns with autistic children is when the parent waits till 8 or 9 to bring the child in to school. And usually when they bring the child to school is because it gets expensive to mind that child. So because of the expense of minding the child, you find that all right, so mom now needs to get a job, so there's no at-home caretaker, so we're gonna drop them in school. But from ages 0 to 8, that child had a set routine, a set caregiver and everything. Now you throw them into school and expect the child now to make that adjustment. That's 8 years. I don't know any adults who work in a place for 8 years and then you could just come and say, hey, we know you don't want to go, but you're no longer in that section or you no longer work with us. It takes a lot and you see it. You see it with normal people, with big people. So imagine a little child, hey, all my life this has been my routine. Now you're telling me I have to go to school? I don't like this stranger because it's a stranger. Or the child was in preschool all the time for 3, 4 years. And now you bring it to big school and the child's accustomed, well, I come in, I play with my friends, I do this, I do that, I chill with this one, chill with that one. And it's like, nah, yeah, cut that out, cut out. Sit there and for 5.5 hours, you do what I say. No, because I'm going to talk to my friend. Miss, I need to go to the bar, or miss, I'm going to the library section. I saw that with my son's preschool, and I know the transition. So I put him in a school where they still embrace that child-centered pedagogy. We talk that talk in the school system. I've been trained, old system, new system. We only talk child-centered pedagogy. We don't live it. We don't have it in our system because it creates chaos. There's a level of noise associated with it. There's a level of free thinking and free will with it. You're in a barn type school where it's just a long hallway separated by blinders or these little blackboards and stuff. You're just screened off. And you're going to be noisy in the class next to you. I always have this problem when I'm in settings like that. Because teachers are always like, so why your class has to be so loud? Because they're learning. Learning is not learning to the evolution of man. It's not to sit down and stay quiet while somebody explains to you the world. No, learning is going out there and learning the world. So this is one of my pet peeves. Sometimes I still end up doing it because the practicality of the situation, literary sister, you are trying to get children to learn about stuff abstractly and their brain has not grown yet. Abstract thinking is typically above the age of 12, 13. But you want to do it at the primary school level. But anyway, that's just my personal browse. So educate yourself. Learn what your diagnosis actually means. What are the limitations? How does it actually look in the classroom? So, the child's autistic, okay. They think differently. It's a communication disorder. We as normal human beings use a lot of body, including your hands and facial expression, to convey meaning. They don't look at that. They believe that you can communicate through your words. They don't look at sarcasm or inflections you have to come out and say what this is you actually mean. They're not going to approximate your feelings. If you don't state your feelings, that has nothing to do with them. If they're ADHD, learn about being hyper focused. How can I get you interested in this topic? How can I use time and importance and hierarchical um, tasking to create you wanting to work? Can I leverage motivation? You know, so you have to educate yourself. Don't rely on myths and TikTok, and get into those books. Talk to educators who have success with those types of children, right? Um, Build a relationship with your child's teacher. That's very important. Just need to hydrate. Oh yes, right. So build a relationship with your child's teacher. Most teachers want to help, but they cannot support what they don't understand. Learn what supports your child needs, and bit by bit, they don't come and say, "Hey, miss, the child must have this, the child must have IEP, the child must." Boy, slow down. She's new at it. She's working in a system where she has to buy her own markers, she has to buy paper, she has to pay for photocopying out of her pocket. You know, she's trying her best. But talk with her. Miss, how can we do this? No, not everybody stay at home. Mom could come and volunteer some time in the classroom. But some of you know politicians. Some of you could leverage your influence and get things done. You know business people. You could leverage getting things donated to the classroom. That's going to make it easier. You yourself could purchase a communication device, purchase the headphones for your autistic child, because they're sensitive to noise. They're sensitive to light. This kind of stuff. So of course they're not going to be walking around and that's half the time when you see people with headphones, it's not because they're listening to music. Understand, I'm not talking about earbuds. These, especially understand that when you see a child or adults with these big headphones, it's not because they're music producer or anything like that. They may be on the spectrum and may be using noise cancelling to regulate the amount of sensory information coming into their lives, right? Don't be afraid of the label. It's you use the digital lock support. Think of it as a key, not the cage. So this weekend I was doing something at my new church. Yeah, I'm back at church, and saw a child. Now, because of my years of experience, and because I watch people for a living, it's one of my greatest hobbies, just watching people. When I inquired of the child, they're like, "Oh, he has ADHD." I'm like, all right, not seeing it. And I look for certain telltale signs: walking on the toes, stemming, masking of the emotion, and the over exaggerated simulation of human contact. It's exaggerated. It is almost laughable. It's like the child is a terrible actor in a play. So he comes and speaks to me, and I hear the sing song noise in his voice. You know me, it's not my job to label. It's not my job to diagnose. I'm seeing certain triggers. But he's highly functional. But the parents are spending a ton of cash to send him to a private school because, but they don't. I understand why they would not want that particular label, but they rather the other label, because the other label is like, oh, look, one in every four children, they say they're ADHD. But he could be living at home, not having to be on the road that early in the morning to go to school in Port of Spain and that kind of stuff. But is he going to get the proper supports right through when he turns 18? And is he going to have proof to carry to the employer and saying, listen, this is support I need so I could get your work done. Is he going to get the correct guidance that's going to allow him to get the job that's perfect for that he's perfectly set for? One of the main reasons why the army likes them because they do great for cryptography and signal interception. Because those tasks might be mundane for more certain types of people, but for spectrum people, they love it. For those of us in the ADHD realm, we love patterns. So, anything with high mathematics, once there's a constant change, and we're not going to die of repetition, right? Talk to your child. Explain to your child, hey, of course you're going to use age-appropriate language. Hey, we got children sooner or later come and ask you, why does that child is why do they treat me like this? And they explain to them what their diagnosis is and not just the challenges, but what are the benefits, because a lot of them have very, very great benefits. If you are part of the ADHD adult society, you understand we have our ADHD powers and superhero narrowing and focusing in times of crisis. After crisis, then we're going to fall apart. Yes, we're going to fall apart. But during crisis, hey, level headed, clear. We got you. Afterwards, yeah, we're going to need a nap. No dopamine. All right, so I want to take another quick break. Let's slide this in now. Hey, tragediespodcast.com. Come visit. Yeah, he kind of creepy. All right, so I'm looking at Lubo actually on this side. So I'm going to switch cameras, and we're wrapping up. So, thanks for joining us. We are practicing live. Also, we're still going to have our taped episodes and stuff online. The audio is going to be jumped to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music. Those great guys and stuff, and try to be where all places where podcasts are found. If you found us so far, you could follow up with us at sellinddreamspodcast.com. We host some of our episodes there. We have additional information. One of the things that, because of this, that we're going to have available by about ending of April is it's a PDF. There we go. Right. 5 ways to be your child's best advocate in school. That's going to be a free PDF. It's going to be on our website, sellinddreamspodcast.com. It's free. Click, download it. Help yourself be the biggest help for your child. So, in wrapping up, I love having notes. It's fun. It's a big one. It's just the beginning. Starting back is always a little thing for me. I can't push it out if I'm not healed. And healing is a constant process. So, powerful topics coming up. ADHD in early childhood and supporting neurodivergent teens. Navigating grief, building creative lives, stories, life's laughs, and a little chaos. Trying to get my boy Muggsy on. We do have merch. We're trying to get that included on our website. Our link tree is being set up properly. Also, I don't like begging for money. Well, no, that's a lie. I love begging for money for my schools and stuff. But however, this is for the Selling Dreams podcast. We need equipment, we need a faster computer, we need more storage. by going to our Patreon page, Patreon/ Selling Dreams Podcast, or even self our website, visiting our pages, liking, sharing our stuff, we get more data to share with sponsors, and we can get sponsors coming online. Um, as I said, we try to get the license for the to be able to use our local music on the podcast. And we're going to have a Thursday show where we're going to look at us Caribbean people, um, share us with the world. When we talk local music is not just about soca; it's about calypso and all Trinidad and Tobago artists. You have beautiful artists out there like Heather Headley. I can't remember. Oh my gosh, I'm feeling embarrassed. Anyhow, also we're gonna be jumping out to the studio. We're trying to bring Lime on stream. Lime. If you know a Trinidad, you're not a Caribbean person, you know about liming. So Lime is trying to come on stream. We also want to launch some other stuff, some other products. And I am still working on the um, parental college, where you as a parent can look at videos, look at get proper supporting documents that's going to help you chart what you're dealing with, get the best outcome for your child. So until next time, this is your boy Freddy. Try to be around more often. I'm home for 2 weeks. It's gonna be hard 2 weeks because I gotta catch up, man. 52 episodes. We're in April. So thanks for joining us again. And as we step out, let's remember, know why, know how. Just don't let somebody just tell you, hey, child can't learn. I have met children that I was like, oh my Lord, it's not that they can't learn. Speed is different. Motivation is different. Hey, new old man in the background. For those of you who don't know, I have a son who's turning 10 in 2 days. No, 1 day, tomorrow's his birthday. So I'm going to leave you and I'm going to go hug him up and give him a lick. That's often instead of lick him, just make sure that he bleed. So until next time, raw stories, raw talk, but real life stories. Because real life stories, raw talk.